He had that smug grin plastered on his face when he said it. $2. Just 2 words, and he turned my raise into a punchline. The whole boardroom broke into laughter, the sound ricocheting off the glass walls. Everyone except me. My raise wasn't supposed to be funny, but he, the CEO, my boss, made sure it was. That was the day I learned loyalty meant nothing here. The next morning, 7:59 a.m. sharp, his nephew summoned me into the glass-walled office. He didn't bother sitting, didn't bother with small talk. He just slid a white envelope across the table, as if it were toxic. Your services are no longer required. I glanced at the clock, 1 minute before 8. He couldn't even wait for the hour to strike. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I folded the letter, tucked it into my jacket, and gave a single nod. I had already been preparing for this moment. I remembered the first time I met him. The CEO looked me in the eye, called me son, told me my ideas could transform the bloodstream of the company. He built illusions with words, made everyone feel like family, like we were part of something permanent. That was his trick. He disarmed us with warmth while his real family slept on silk sheets, funded by our sleepless nights and uncredited work. For years, I believed in him. I worked until my eyes burned, piecing together presentations and stitching numbers that made his empire gleam. But his promises were just smoke, and his praise nothing more than poison. The cracks showed slowly. My name disappeared from invitations. Conversations dissolved into silence whenever I walked into the room. Then came the slip. His assistant forgot to mute a call. I heard my name, followed by laughter, and then his voice. $2. That's all he's worth. I didn't storm out. I didn't slam the phone down. I let the sting sink deep, and beneath the sting something sharper grew. Betrayal, I realized, is not just pain, it's clarity. It wakes you up. So I stopped playing loyal. I stopped being naive. I started collecting emails, contracts, invoices executives thought no one would notice. I traced money that didn't belong, deals that shouldn't have existed. And hidden within the paperwork was my jewel. A clause buried deep in the merger documents. The reverse clause. My clause. A safeguard I had drafted myself, one they never even noticed. So when his nephew dismissed me that morning, I walked out in silence. But my silence wasn't defeat. It was timing. At 9:01, while they were patting themselves on the back for cutting loose dead weight, a courier walked into the boardroom with an envelope addressed to the CEO. He unfolded the paper with those same confident hands, and his laughter died halfway in his throat. 6 lines. That's all my letter contained. One question. Have you activated the reverse clause? The reverse clause triggered instantly. Certain debts, quietly shifted off the books without disclosure, reverted ownership back to me. The originating party. Factories. Contracts. A distribution channel in Singapore. Assets they thought lost in legal fog. But I was the fog. By 9:30 his phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Banks. Partners. Lawyers. Everyone demanding answers. Demanding to know why half his leverage had evaporated into my hands. I wasn't in the room, but I could imagine it. Sweat crawling down his temples. Board members staring at him like he was a liability. His nephew's smirk dissolving into fear. And the CEO, the man who once called me son, realizing he had just fired the only person capable of saving him. I ignored his calls that day. And the next. When I finally picked up, I let him speak first. His voice hollow, stripped of arrogance. He tried to bargain, offering me a seat back at the table, a clean slate. I listened. And when he was finished, I gave him the only words he deserved. $2. So pathetic. Then I hung up. I never wanted his empire. What I wanted was far simpler. To watch him collapse under the weight of it. And I got exactly that. Within a week, the story broke in the press. Shareholders turned against him. The board pushed him out. His nephew, nothing but a mouthpiece, was cast aside too. As for me, I walked away with what mattered most. Proof that betrayal never goes unanswered. People sometimes ask if revenge ever truly satisfies. I tell them this. There's a moment, right after the blade twists, where silence speaks louder than applause. That silence is yours. And in that silence, I found peace. because for once he finally saw my worth. Not $2. Not even 2 million. But enough to bring him to his knees. Do you want me to push this rewrite further toward cinematic suspense, slow burn, sharper imagery, or keep it as a confident revenge monologue style?